1995 AD, 5889 AM. On January the 17th, an earthquake rocked Kobe, Japan, killing more than 5,000 people. A 7.2 magnitude quake, totally unexpected. Other estimates hold the death toll at over 6,000. The quake even toppling earthquake-proof bridges. Over 2 months later in Japan, the Aum Shinrikyo cult attacked the Tokyo subway system with sarin gas, causing 12 deaths and 5,000 injuries. 1 month after this, in April, Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols detonated a fertilizer truck bomb outside the Federal Alfred P. Murray building in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, at the same time that other conspirators detonated thermite explosives inside the building to amplify the destruction, resulting in the collapse of the structure and a death toll of 168 people, many being children. These American terrorists thought they were retaliating for the Branch Davidian affair against the federal government, but were actually pawns of the cryptocracy who wanted Congress to pass the Anti-Terrorist and Effective Death Penalty Act bill, which called for many abrogations of American citizens' rights, privileges and immunities, while strengthening the federal government against the US citizenry. The AEDPA shocked many congressmen who refused to pass the bill, but it was ramrodded through after the Murray American terrorist demonstration. 2 years before the bombing of the Murray building in 1993, a man named Martin Keating, brother of Oklahoma Governor Frank Keating, wrote a book called The Final Jihad, a story concerning a terrorist attack on the Oklahoma City building by a man named Thomas McVeigh. This strangely prophetic novel was dedicated to the Knights of the Sacred Circle. In September, France begins a series of nuclear tests underground at Mururoa Atoll. The Hale-Bopp comet appeared and would remain visible for 19 months, the brightest comet on record in modern times, despite its distance beyond Jupiter. A long-period comet. Astronomers believe the comet has an elliptical orbit and that its trajectory is inclined at 30 degrees below the ecliptic. This is close to Phoenix and Nibiru, both intruder planets having extremely elliptical orbits, and both are steeply inclined toward the ecliptic. On June 22nd was discovered at Longwood Warren near Winchester, Hampshire, England, a unique crop circle formation, a model of our solar system depicting Mercury, Venus, Earth's orbital belt, but Earth is missing, Mars and the asteroid belt as they will be positioned in 2033 AD on September 1st. The cellular changes in the plants prove this to be a true agroglyph, not hoaxed. It was studied by Gerald Hawkins and Robert Hadley, both confirming it to be a perfect symbol of our solar system. A photo of this crop formation is in Anunnaki Homeworld. In Egypt, US archaeologists discover a 67-chamber underground sepulchral complex of Ramesses II for his 50 sons, the largest funerary tomb complex ever found. Black supremacist and American Islamic extremist Louis Farrakhan leads the Million-Man March of Black Americans in Washington, D.C. Given much fanfare by the media, although not even 500,000 blacks participated. Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated at a peace rally in Tel Aviv, Israel. Prehistoric insect remains preserved in fossilized amber tens of millions of years old yielded forth dormant microbes that scientists revived in California. Michael Mayer and Didier Queloz, Geneva, Switzerland Observatory, discovered the first exoplanet, a distant world orbiting a star called 51 Pegasus in northern constellation, that is very much like our own Sun. It is a gaseous giant about half the size of Jupiter, with an amazingly rapid orbital period of approximately 4 days, located 42 light-years away. This planet orbits its parent star faster than anything in human experience. Depending on its distance from the surface of 51 Pegasus, this gas giant is travelling anywhere from 30,000 miles per second to 60,000 miles per second, the speed of light being 186,000 miles per second. 1. Predictions for a new millennium. 2. Alice in Wonderland and the World Trade Center disaster. 3. 20th century events. 4. Of heaven and earth. 5. Crop circles, signs of contact. 6. Mars mystery. 7. New worlds in the cosmos. 1996 AD, 5890 AM. France conducts its sixth underground nuclear test in the Pacific. Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon hit a United Nations base, killing 105 civilians. US B-52 bombers and warships launched 27 cruise missiles on targets in southern Iraq in response to Iraqi incursions into Kurdish safe havens in northern Iraq. British Prime Minister of England John Major announced that the promise made to the Scots in 1296 AD by King Edward I concerning the Stone of Destiny, Lia Fale, would not be honoured, that the stone would remain in the coronation chair in Westminster Abbey. This stone was supposed to be that brought to ancient Ireland in 583 BC by Jeremiah the prophet, when the prophet brought the Judahite princess Tamar to the Emerald Isle. Despite Major's claim on St Andrew's Day amidst a great procession, the stone was returned to Scotland and put in Edinburgh Castle exactly 700 years after it was taken to England. Shannon Lucid completed a 188-day space flight, breaking both male and female records. The Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur are completed, becoming the tallest buildings in the world at 33 feet taller than the Chicago Sears Tower. TWA Flight 800 explodes and plunges into the Atlantic shortly after takeoff from New York's JFK Airport. There were no survivors from the Boeing 747. The long-period comet Hyakutake passed within 22 million miles of Earth. Earth is 93 million miles from the Sun, putting off an extremely long tail. Hyakutake's calculated orbit is 29,650 years, travelling 951 AUs away from the Sun, or 93 million miles, 951 times over. Part of this comet was photographed showing fragments breaking away in what astronomers term disconnection events. Hyakutake was also discovered to emit X-rays, which is now considered a universal phenomenon among comets. On April 11th, Hyakutake passed directly through the Perseus constellation over the star Algol. Algol is the very hottest of stars, a blue-white dwarf approximately 36,000 degrees, also called the Eye of Medusa. Algol features prominently in the following year, 1997, also involving another comet. Around the world, Algol is depicted as an evil star, called the blinking demon by the Arabs and the head of Satan by the early Hebrews. The Chinese refer to Algol as piled up corpses, and the literal meaning of Algol is the ghoul, an undead creature that feeds on the dead. Americans discovered two more exoplanets, one at 47 Ursa Majoris and the other at 70 Virginis, one of the most massive distant planets ever found. Between August 6th to 19th, a sign appeared in the heavens when Jupiter, Saturn, Chiron and Mars conjoined with Venus. Jupiter is the king, Saturn is the harvester of souls and planet of mysteries, Chiron is the guide of the dead, Mars the war god, and Venus was the newcomer. In 1996 AD, the one who will become the Antichrist is born. A man who at 40 in 2036 AD will be an internationally known person. Scottish scientists cloned the first mammal, but evidence exists that this is merely the publicised corporate cloning, which has nothing to do with the unofficial and highly secretive cloning experiment of various organisations and governments going back 50 years. In this year appeared the most fascinating and geometrically complex crop circle formation ever discovered. In June, the double helix formation appeared in England, a replica of DNA strands that mathematically encodes the number 792, orbital duration of Nibiru. In July appeared the Julia set in a wheat field, just across the highway from ancient Stonehenge on Salisbury Plain, 2,000 feet away. The Julia set was discovered by two men flying over to visit Stonehenge. A line drawn between the centres of Stonehenge and the Julia set formation points directly at magnetic north. The Julia set is a geometrical representation of the Fibonacci series of numbers, called golden proportion. This formation encoded the sum of 4140, 10 cursed Earth periods of 414 years each, a period of time indicating the year 1902 AD of the Phoenix chronology, or 4140 years after the Great Flood of 2239 BC. The Fibonacci series' 12th number, the sum of its geometry, is 144, the base number of the golden mean, and exactly 144 years after the start of the last days in 1902 is 2046 AD, when planet Nibiru returns with the Anunnaki and the whole Western world dies, as revealed in Anunnaki Homeworld and Nostradamus and the Planets of Apocalypse. Also appearing in 1996 in Wiltshire, England, near the megalithic ruins of Windmill Hill, was the awe-inspiring Triple Julius set that forever banished any doubts that humans are capable of these amazing geometrical agroglyphs. Its calendrical message is a 40-year countdown, indicating 1996 to 2036 AD. Near Liddington Castle in Wiltshire appeared the Pointer Formation, which exhibits a unique comet symbol surrounded by the geometrical representation of the Mayan long count calendar that is seen in the charts of Anunnaki Homeworld, ending not in 2012 but in 2046 AD. A double layer of meaning is seen in this formation, indicating the year 2052 AD, when the 7 Anunnaki kings return to rule over mankind. The combined message of these formations, all appearing in 1996, is that a comet heralds the birth of one who in 40 years will become the Anunnaki hybrid Antichrist in 2036 AD, who will prepare the way for the arrival of the Anunnaki in 2046 AD, when a comet will end the Western world, the Mayan calendar being a Western calendar. The events of 1997 will continue this series of signs from hyperdimensional beings who are warning those who will listen. 1. 20th century events. 6. Stones and the Scarlet Thread. 7. The Atlas of the Constellations. 8. 3 books of occult philosophy. 9. New worlds in the cosmos. 10. Catastrophobia. 11. Crop circles, signs of contact.